In 2006, a very abnormal murder case took place in Hanyang County, Shaanxi Province. A Taoist was cut off. His limbs, chest and stomach were dug out of a basin-sized hole in the water. The heart was taken out, fried and placed on a plate, and finally placed on an eyeball as an embellishment. A delicious killer pig heart was completed. In addition, the murderer left a line of blood on the wall of the Taoist temple. It is obvious that this case is a murder. The Taoist priest is likely to have killed the murderer in anger. But is the truth really like this? The police found 9 bodies with 8 horizontal lines in the other 2 rooms. They were knocked down by the murderer when they were sleeping. If it is a murder, are all the 10 dead men and the murderer's wife one-legged? This is too ridiculous. The police found a man named 𝐂𝐫𝐫𝐲 in the cell last night. He was holding a heavy sweater and went up the mountain in a sneaky way. It is necessary to know that there must be something wrong with the political situation now. The police came to 𝐂's house to investigate. As expected, 𝐂𝐫𝐫𝐲 has fled far and wide. It is obvious that he is the murderer. The police issued a wanted order immediately. Unexpectedly, 𝐂𝐫𝐫𝐲 fled to 𝐓𝐫𝐫𝐲 Hubei province, which is 500 kilometers away. He also took his family and 3 children and cut them into serious injuries with a knife. The man died of excessive bleeding. 𝐂𝐫𝐫𝐲 ran away again with more than 1,000 yuan. This time he hid in the deep mountains of Hanyang. He eats corn and barks every day. He stayed here for more than 30 days until he was so hungry that he couldn't stand it. He wanted to go home and find something to eat. However, as soon as he opened the door, more than 10 policemen immediately took him down. 𝐂𝐫𝐫𝐲, who was controlled, struggled and was crazy about his wife and child. He asked his wife to give him the kitchen knife, but his wife and child obviously didn't want him to make any more mistakes. He stood still. In the police interrogation, 𝐂𝐫𝐫𝐲 confessed to the crime he committed, but he asked the police to let him go because he still had 2 things to do. One is to look at his son for the last time and the other is to kill his wife. The police asked in a confused face why he wanted to kill his wife. Because this ugly woman has a leg behind me and someone else. The police were even more confused. Is this woman really infected with the 10 people who died at the same time? According to the investigation, 𝐂𝐫𝐫𝐲's family background has been very poor since childhood. His mother is also mentally ill and he himself is thin and short and he is very inferior. But as the saying goes, the door that God has closed for you will open a window for you. Although 𝐂𝐫𝐫𝐲, 26 years old, looks ugly, he plays with his own 3-inch rotten tongue. The little sister in the village is in a mess. There are more than a dozen girlfriends in the village. One of them accidentally fell out with her family and eloped with her. The one who eloped was his current wife. It was for this reason that in his consciousness he thought that women were easy to be seduced. 𝐂𝐫𝐫𝐲 also has a serious idea of heavy men and light women. After his wife gave birth to 2 daughters, he was not satisfied and forced his wife to give birth to a 3rd child. Fortunately, this time it was a boy. However, in that era, the Superman had to be fined. In order to avoid fines, 𝐂𝐫𝐫𝐲 moved home 5 times in 7 years. And these days are getting poorer and poorer because of moving home. What to do, what to lose, the tuition fees of the 3 children can't be paid. 𝐂𝐫𝐫𝐲's life has fallen to the bottom and his heart is gradually twisting. He even doubts that his 2 daughters are not his own. The reason is that the way they walk is not like him. In May 2006, 𝐂𝐫𝐫𝐲 met a Taoist priest to calculate his fate. He said that there were 2 tombstones of the ancestors of the 𝐂𝐫 family on Phoenix Mountain. As long as they are found and placed in the Taoist temple to worship, they can be used to operate. 𝐂𝐫𝐫𝐲 was very suspicious of this. He also found 2 tombstones of the ancestors of the 𝐂𝐫 family under the Taoist temple of Phoenix Mountain. 𝐂𝐫𝐫𝐲 was furious. His own tombstone was trampled by the Taoist priest as a stepping stone. No wonder he lost money in everything he did. In this way, he had a conflict with the Taoist priest in the temple. He almost hit him once. The host of the Taoist temple, Taoist Xiong Jinzhuang, sincerely kicked 𝐂𝐫𝐫𝐲 into the house. He cried and cried and cried for him. Gradually, 𝐂𝐫𝐫𝐲 began to trust Taoist priest Xiong. He made an excessive request to help him calculate his fate. Calculate whether the 2 daughters are his own. Taoist priest Xiong was numb when he heard it. This is a Taoist temple, not a hospital. How could he be a father-son identification? He firmly refused him and kindly persuaded him that the father and son should help each other to maintain this family. But 𝐂𝐫𝐫𝐲 was not only not interested, but also thought that when Taoist priest Xiong spoke to his wife, he was very gentle. His eyes seemed to be in love with his wife. Mother, Taoist priest Xiong must be in love with his wife. No wonder he didn't want to be a father-son identification for me. I feel like he is the child's father. The next day, 𝐂𝐨𝐫𝐫𝐢𝐴 hated Taoist priest Xiong. He had the idea of killing people. On the night of July 14th, 𝐂𝐨𝐫𝐫𝐢𝐴 sneaked into the mountain and broke the Taoist temple. He brutally killed Taoist priest Xiong in order to prevent Taoist priest Xiong from effecting his own plans and escape. He did not stop. He killed all 9 Taoists and pilgrims in the temple. At this time, he found that a child and his father had not died yet. 𝐂𝐨𝐫𝐫𝐢𝐴 quickly took a wooden stick and put it on his head. 𝐂𝐨𝐫𝐫𝐢𝐴, who had killed thousands of people, was still angry. He went back to Taoist priest Xiong's room again, cut off all his hands and feet, opened his mouth and stomach, pulled out his heart and cut it into shreds. He cooked it and ate it. He said that was the only way to kill people. After doing all this, he took off his Taoist shoes, stained Taoist priest Xiong's blood, and left a self-righteous slogan on the wall. In the end, he set the whole Taoist temple on fire and escaped down the mountain at night. Then the problem came. Were the 2 daughters of 𝐂𝐨𝐫𝐫𝐢𝐴 his biological children? Through personal identification, the 3 children were undoubtedly his biological children. Subsequent investigations also found that before Taoist priest Xiong died, he and his wife had never been born. The fundamental reason for the murder case in the trial is only because of 𝐂𝐨𝐫𝐫𝐢𝐴's unbounded suspicion and speculation. In December 2006, the Shinxi Provincial Supreme People's Court opened a trial and sentenced 𝐂𝐨𝐫𝐫𝐢𝐴 to death. 𝐂𝐨𝐫𝐫𝐢𝐴 was dragged out and executed that day.
Ever since I started using insect pills to lose weight, my skin has been getting worse. However, it wasn't until I took a whole bottle of weight loss medicine that I found the evidence. My neighbor has been getting very naughty lately. She lives in the room 606 next to mine. Well, this is my favorite yogurt. I have to shake it before drinking it. I can't drink it. He's so thin now. Even if she eats a lot, she won't get fat. I'm so jealous of her figure. What's going on with the spots on her body? The next day, I was woken up by a police car. It was a woman from room 606. She died in her own room this morning. I accidentally found a courier from room 606 in the evening. No one seemed to recognize it. There was a bottle of medicine in the courier. I used my phone to translate it. I found that it was weight loss medicine. Is the reason why the woman in room 606 is so slim because of this weight loss medicine? So amazing. I took the weight loss medicine and wanted to eat more before I lost weight. The next day I really lost 10 pounds. Seems that the weight loss medicine is really effective, and I can eat snacks at will. I don't need to stop eating, so I keep taking medicine and don't control my diet. My weight keeps going down. I'm getting more and more slim and beautiful. My colleagues say that I have changed a lot, but there are some unknown spots on my body. It's like something is going to pop out. The old lady in the elevator was talking. A while ago, the woman in room 606 did an autopsy. She found a lot of parasites in her stomach. I realized that this may be the reason for the weight loss medicine. It's meaningless to lose your health. After a hard struggle, I decided to eat less and gradually reduce the amount of medicine. But on the first day of weight loss medicine, I suddenly gained 5 pounds again. My weight gradually rebounded, and I kept vomiting. It's like something is going to pop out of my mouth. In the end, I made up my mind to swallow the whole bottle of weight loss medicine. After a hard struggle, I suddenly gained 5 pounds again, and I didn't take medicine. I'm very happy, but the price is that I have to give up the old trick. Do you understand? I'm so happy. It's like something is going to pop out.
I'm a man with a bad breath. Every time I buy a roll, I smell it. In order to avoid embarrassment before I smell it, I will make sure that there is no one around me. Then I will smell it. But yesterday, just when I was about to smell it, I suddenly heard a sound in my ear. It's like I'm smelling something too. I looked around, but I didn't find anyone else. But the smell of something never stopped. I looked around again and found no one. So I continued to smell the roll in my hand. At this time, a stronger rustling sound came from my ear. I was stunned. Is there anything unclean around here? So I put the roll back. I decided to leave here quickly. As a result, I looked around. I found a man with double chin in the corner. He was staring at me. To be honest, I've never seen such a big double chin. In order to prevent eye contact from infuriating him, I turned my head quickly. I pretended to be picking something seriously. Suddenly, he flashed behind me. He smelled me like a greedy man. I was so scared that I didn't dare to move. In order not to let him see through my fear, I pretended to pick up the roll and continue to smell it. I didn't expect him to be more daring. He was sniffing behind me. The more I was afraid, the more he sniffed. I felt insulted, so I turned around and asked him, "What the hell are you doing?" As a result, he said directly, "I should ask you this question, because I sniffed the roll first." so I lost the momentum to refute him. He told me, if you need help, please call him. After that, I turned around and left. After he went back to the corner, I picked up the roll on the shelf again. I sniffed it greedily. I didn't know he sniffed it again. He lifted my arm up. Then he slowly rubbed his nose under my leaves. I sniffed it fearlessly, as he was tall and strong, so I tried my best to escape. Just like the pork on the cutting board, I shouted, hoping to attract others' attention. After a few shouts, the staff rushed over and pushed him down. I didn't expect that after being pushed to the ground, he became crazier. He told me to sniff your pants. I beg you. I was so scared that I stayed where I was. I didn't come back for a long time. I didn't know until he was caught. Turned out that he was a weird man. His favorite smell was the smell of the lake.